You're listening to Flying Casual, a Star Wars podcast. Here's your host, Michael Canterbury.
Flying Casual fam, welcome to our second installment of Casual Council. I don't know if the quality looks good, Holly, but, well, you look good.
Well, thank you.
I don't know if the quality of you looks good, but you look good.
You look great, too.
Thanks. You know who else looks good?
These guys.
Nate and Jory, a.k.a. Nettie and Jory. Jory, do we have a nickname for you?
I've never had a nickname. Jory's just so weird that nobody's ever given me a nickname anyways, so.
We'll think of something. Joe Rye? I don't know. That's kind of cool.
That's like a
They used to call me J-Dub.
J-Dub. Yeah.
Solid.
That's probably going to
stick.
stick.
Contender.
Nettie and J-Dub. Sounds like we're like making
starting a band.
Music video. Yeah, that we were in the right,
right
area.
Yeah. Boy-girl band, I guess.
Boy-girl band. Now, Holly will probably do the bass line. Ba, 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 boo.
That's exactly what I sound like.
I thought so too.
Deepest voice ever.
Fam, welcome. You know, like I mentioned, this is our Casual Council session with our Jedi Masters on our Patreon. And that's right, Holly, right?
That's correct.
Just remembering the tiers in my mind.
You got it right.
Because, you know, this probably is my first time here hosting an episode of Flying Casual. At least it seems like that. But we also have a few others in this tier that couldn't make it tonight. No, they did not perish, Holly. I know you're going to ask what happened.
Thank God.
But actually right now, David is he's either on a diplomatic mission or he's putting down a rebellion. I couldn't really tell from his transmission. It was a little unclear.
It was kind of spotty.
But sometimes maybe that's the same thing. Am I right?
I mean, yeah, you have to be really discreet.
Right, because, you know, what's the Star Wars saying, you Star Wars fans? You know, it's aggressive negotiations.
May the Force be with you.
Negotiations.
I
don't know why I just developed a lisp there. So David's down putting an insurrection somewhere in the Republic. And our other Jedi Master, Brent, is stuck in LA traffic.
Terrible.
So no Star Wars reference there, but just LA traffic, and that is unfortunate. But we are going to establish, you know, these times a little better, so all of our Jedi Masters can participate. So we'll probably be doing the last Saturday of the month. It will be our Casual Council session. So if you all would like to, you know, listening would like to join us in our Casual Council sessions. Apparently it's been a while since
Flying
I spoke.
Casual, we have tongue twisters.
We have tongue twisters. That's a tongue twister itself. If you'd like to join the sessions, go check us out on Patreon. You know, see if there's a tier that's right for you. See if that Jedi Master tier is right for you. It's a little something we like to do with our friends, part of this Casual fam, and we'd love to have you join us. So yeah, that does it for my introduction. Guys, it's been a few weeks since we talked. Nettie, I want to start with you. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Say it's a Friday night. Say
Let's
weekend.
go.
About to talk some Star Wars, so definitely can't complain.
That's what I'm talking about, buddy. I mean, is that Star Wars news keep holding you over a little bit, and then the content?
Yep. So I watched the new Clone Wars right before this, so
my God, I forgot.
Episode right there.
You know why we forgot? Because we were watching something else about the universe.
Well, don't get me started talking about the universe on Netflix, or I'm in a bit of an existential crisis right now. Watching, you know, television about our universe. It's a big universe.
How did we forget about Clone Wars?
I don't know.
Are we the Star Wars fans?
I don't know. I think
Is that the existential crisis?
I have had a moment the past few days, guys. I start to question life itself, and it's not pretty. So I got to get back into my Star Wars phase and watch the Clone Wars. So Nettie, no spoilers. But we will talk about episode 1. Jory, my friend, J-Dubs, how you doing?
Good. Kids are in bed, I hope. I was just actually trying to listen to see if I heard anything, but we're good to go.
Awesome.
Doing well. We talked 2 weeks ago with the Holly's Hyperspace Happy Hour, which was
right.
Pretty awesome.
Right.
But no, everything's good.
Good. Yeah, that was a good time. That was an excellent time. I know Holly had some jitters.
A little, but they're better now.
Probably my fault. I actually, before we even started, said, "Hey, Holly, what's your intro?" She's like, "I have to have an intro." And
oh my God, I have to talk?
And then panic set in.
Oh,
you did great.
Yeah, it was a great time, and I'm hoping all of our patrons can join us next time. Just have the biggest book club on the interwebs.
Yeah. Well, this is my first casual council.
This is your first casual council.
It's the first time here.
It's the first time it is. Not sure I set the proper battery settings there on the computer, so it may go dark. Who knows? So, guys, there's been a lot, actually, that's happened in Star Wars just in the few weeks we haven't talked on Casual Council. Obviously, the Clone Wars. Nettie's a little ahead of us all. Jory, did you watch episode 2 yet?
I have not watched episode 1, and I know that this is like sacrilege. I know it's crazy, but I have not watched all through season 7 either. So that's my little holdup at the moment. But I did listen to the last episode that you guys did, so I got a little bit of a recap, and I know a little bit what's going on.
Few spoilers there.
Ooh, buddy, I am really sorry about that, but
that's okay. Everything's a spoiler for me because I haven't even made it past season 1.
That's true.
And I talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
Well, not this last episode.
No, it was good. It was definitely good. I also forgot where our camera was. It is right there, isn't it? There's 3 different cameras here in this dining room, and I couldn't tell you which one to look at.
It's like a bad family photo. Where do I look?
Well, pretty much. But okay. Well, that's one topic we're not going to discuss because I do want to keep it a little.
No, we can discuss it because I've already been spoiled.
Got a little spoiled already. Okay. Nettie, let's start with you, man. What did you think of that first episode? I mean, it was very clone heavy. Were you happy with that? Or are you excited for kind of our bigger hero stories?
See, I'm definitely more excited to see Ahsoka come back and Darth Maul come back, but I didn't really enjoy it for what it was. Definitely, Bad Batch seems like a cool set of characters. So.
Yeah, right. Like, what did you get a chance to listen to the last podcast?
I did, but I did it on Monday, so I probably forgot half of it by this point.
That's okay. I don't know if you're in the same boat as me. I mean, like, we think about droids sometimes, and I know like in new canon, like droids' rights and are like it's like a huge thing. But the clones, I mean, I kind of feel like they've been forgotten. And I know, Clone Wars has done a decent job so far of like, I say humanizing them. I understand they're humans, but I mean, as clones, you would think they'd be very similar. We know they have different personalities, but I don't know if you've ever thought of it that way. Like, are we forgetting the clones? Is Disney doing a good enough job of making us, understand that like these aren't just droids to be sacrificed? I mean. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, that was a huge part of that episode 1. What was the quote, Holly, at the beginning?
Oh God, don't quiz me.
Oh, that's okay. We're not prepared. But basically accepting, others' differences, it makes you whole or something like that, right? Like, what do you think about that, man? Is that a good message?
Oh, definitely a great message. But I definitely think the Clone Wars series as a whole, too, definitely drives home that point about the clones. Because, I mean, in 2 and 3, it is basically the same as the droids, just they're in cooler armor. And even the Clone Wars, going back to, I think it's the Umbaran arc or whatever, the arc with General Krell and Rex. That arc is really good at humanizing them too. So I just got done with that in my rewatch, and then this new first episode really drove that home too. So
nice. Jory, do you find yourself forgetting that the clones are actually humans? They have personality. They matter.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a really good point. I mean, once again, I'm actually in the same boat as Holly. Like, I'm only in season 1, so like I haven't seen enough to have like a lot of deep thoughts on that. But no, it definitely makes sense as far as like, we didn't really look at them even in episode 2 and episode 3. They were just soldiers. They were soldiers that were there to take command and do as they were told. So it's actually a really good way to look at it as far as like, they are human. They might be clones, but they're still human. So they're going to have their own thoughts their own ways and things like that. So
Yeah, I love that line. I don't remember who said it in the trailer, if it was Rex or someone else, but they're just like, we have our own thoughts on the war. It's like, holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, so that, I don't know. It was a really solid episode. I was kind of sad that I spoiled myself by watching the early on animation. I mean, they'd already done this episode and they shared it to the world, and it was the early production of it. And so I kind of knew it was happening, but it was still cool to see the finished product, that they're sticking with it, that Dave Filoni had a vision years ago and he's sticking to it. And I'm cool with that. I hope this is very final. You know what I'm saying? I want it to end right where 3 leaves off. But then again,
Does it?
Nettie, am I mistaken in that this is overlapping with 3? Is that what we're thinking?
See, I know based on the trailer, some people were wondering that. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not.
Yeah.
I don't think it has yet, but
Yeah.
I'd say it's definitely possible it will. I know, like, the 2003 Clone Wars, like the hand-drawn one before we went to the CGI, that literally ended, like, with the Battle of Coruscant starting.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're going to do that again, basically.
God, I hope so. I hope so. Now, Jory, would you be okay with it overlapping, or would you just want it to end, Anakin and Obi-Wan kind of flying in and their what do you call them? Starfighters. Would you want that, or would you like to see some overlap?
honestly, I don't know. If they did overlap, I feel like it would have to be exclusively just clones, or stuff that obviously isn't covered in the movies. But it would be, I don't know how I feel about that. That would be very interesting to see, how they would approach that. It's something I honestly hadn't even thought of.
I like what you're saying though. Like, show us, it can be during the time period, but maybe not the exact scenes, right, Holly?
I kind of think it would be cool if it overlapped. Maybe that's what they're doing right now when they're starting the season off with just learning about the clones, and you're kind of getting like another glimpse into a group of clones that we are not too familiar with. I kind of feel like it sets you up maybe later in the season for it to end with them as well. I don't know for sure, but it seems like a nice way to get us set up for that.
Yeah, and I think everyone's turning to the scene of Mace and saying, hey, that's that scene in Revenge of Sith. And I'm like, I think it could be. I don't know, like Nettie said, I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but I think it would be cool to show other characters during those same periods, even scenes. It would make me want to go back and watch Revenge of the Sith again and be like, oh my God, Rex was doing that at that point, or whoever was, Ahsoka was doing that.
I don't know about you guys, but I like it when kind of you see things that are happening like in the TV shows that you can place it in the movies, and you can be like, it's bigger than you thought it was because you can see everything else going on. It kind of ties it together nicely, don't you guys think?
Yeah,
definitely. And I don't know if any of you have read the Ahsoka novel, but doesn't that kind of start like right with Order 66 and she's on Mandalore facing Maul?
Yeah. It's been so long since I read it, but you're right. That's how it starts.
Easy with the Ahsoka references. I'm just about to listen to that.
Just a slight spoiler.
No, that's fine. I mean, that would have been right at the very beginning of the book anyway. So
it's a solid book, and they do have some scenes like that aren't like, it can jump time periods and stuff and go to other characters and different time periods, but it's a solid story. But some of that smaller stuff is great. But I got to go back and, I don't know if we ever do a book club with that, Holly.
Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Jory's ahead of the game then, and I'm gonna have to listen to it again because
I have to read it for the first time.
Oh yeah, Nettie read it too. That's right. You just brought it up.
Yeah, I definitely have to listen to it again before the book club though. It's been a while since I read it.
Same here. I'll probably have to audio book these so I can be relevant.
That's fair.
While raising my hand in the corner.
Yes, or maybe Luke will just hold the mic awkwardly towards your face.
It's gonna be way better produced than last time. Well, yeah, I'm super excited for that. I cannot believe I forgot, that there was an episode that dropped tonight. But guys, I have been immersed in the universe on Netflix, and I'm sure if anyone I've talked to today is listening to this, they're like, here we go again. Michael's having a crisis. We're all made of elements from stars. Yeah. But it's crazy, Ollie. I'm sorry. My mind's been literally blown. So I'm having troubles focusing on Star Wars because there's a bigger universe out there, even in the Star Wars universe, guys. It's crazy. So the Clone Wars is back in action. Second episode, I cannot believe it, of 12 episodes.
I think so. Does
Something
that sound
like
right?
that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys if it's only 12 or.
I think it's 12. Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think Luke said.
Yep.
Luke can fact check me on this. It's his quote.
Yep.
But it's going to be sets of episodes following different characters, right? So we're going to get
arcs.
3 or 4 arcs with the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
And then, or 3 or 4 arcs, 3 or 4 episodes with the Bad Batch,
Yeah.
and then it's going to jump into someone else.
Yeah. Nettie, am I right? I saw what I thought was like a Facebook quick trailer or something. Some Anakin action in this one. We see Anakin finally.
Yeah, he's definitely in this one a lot more than that first one.
Okay, so we're not jumping just to the clones and finishing that. It seems like the classic Clone Wars jumping around.
Yeah, a little bit. So it definitely follows straight after the last one. So it's not
Okay.
like you have to go to season 2, episode 6. But
Oh my
yeah.
god! Can you imagine? Like,
Okay,
actually, you need to go
yeah.
back and watch season 4 of this first.
That has been the most frustrating thing. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
That's been so frustrating to rewatch the Clone Wars because I can't keep track of where I am. And then,
Yep.
like, if you don't watch it for a few days, then you're like, wait a second.
Well, but the thing is, when I first watched it, I watched it all in the release order, right?
Yeah, you didn't have a choice.
No, and I've been rewatching it, and she's been watching it. We're doing the chronological order. Nettie, is that the way you're doing it right now in your rewatch?
yeah, that's how I'm doing in my rewatch, and it's definitely better.
So much.
I would say
better.
though it is nice too. I'm up to season 4, so I can just kind of play season 4 because
Yeah.
season 4 goes straight through, so that's kind of nice.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah, Jory, you said
Yeah.
you've only watched season 1.
Yeah, and I'm very few episodes into season 1 as well. It's not because I don't want to. It's just you don't have time all the time to do it. So
You have to take a page out of Luke's book. He was watching Clone Wars while doing the dishes.
yeah, honestly, yeah. When he said that, I was like, that's a really good idea because I still do the bottles too. So
Not a bad idea. Are you doing the chronological order kind of mixed up, or are you doing straight through?
honestly, I didn't even know that there was a chronological order. So yeah, I'm just watching
Alright.
it straight through. I'm episode 6 or 7 right now, so not very far in. I have a lot of episodes to go.
Okay.
Have you watched the movie? Like the animated
I have
movie?
not. No.
Okay.
See, that was when all the Clone Wars came out. That was kind of at the time where I was out of Star Wars, so it wasn't a thing that I really got into. And I know that my family, like my sister and my dad, they've all watched them, but just never really got into it. And then to find out, it was pretty relevant, and you're like, oh, well, probably should go back and watch that.
Oh, dude, it'll happen. Yeah, just go to Google, type in Clone Wars chronological order. It'll take you to the Star Wars site, and they've got it listed there. So you there's some jumping around the first couple seasons from season to season, but then it kind of plays itself out around, like I think Nettie said, season 4, and it's a little smooth
halfway through
sailing.
3 and 4.
Yeah, and they throw the film in there that came out in 2008, so that adds a little something to it. Because I saw the film in 2008, and I walked out saying, "What the hell did I just see?"
Yeah.
I did not know what was happening. I did not know they were doing a whole animated series after, because it just kind of ended. You're like, okay, so we got this little story about Jabba's son. Awesome. Okay, well, I guess I'll never see more Star Wars again. It was just weird. And after I found out they were making an animated series, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
I feel like I got kind of spoiled because I watched Rebels before I started watching the Clone Wars. So
Yeah.
I already knew a lot
Yeah.
about like a more matured version of Ahsoka, right? Because that's what
Yep.
we see in Rebels.
Yep.
So when I was watching the Clone Wars movie, Michael was like, people hated Ahsoka. She thought she
Oh,
was
yeah.
so annoying.
Annoying.
Or they
Snips.
thought she was so annoying. Yeah.
Snips.
but I really liked her in the movie. But I think it's because I know what she does later.
What she becomes, and
Yeah,
you
okay.
know that people are we respect the hell out of her, and you were a Celebration, and everyone loves Ahsoka. So yeah, you kind of had a heads up
Yeah.
that maybe
Yeah.
they
So-
ironed some things out from the
Right.
beginning.
So Jory, watch the movie.
Yeah.
And tell us what you think about that.
That's right. Stick with it, my friend. So
I
that's
will definitely do so.
gonna have to tap into that maybe tonight. We'll see how many beers I go through. That's that's one beer.
Yeah. So far, maybe half a beer.
Yeah, beer makes me sleepy.
True.
But something else, guys, happened this week. I think I was going through social media. I knew Project Luminous was going to be revealed, right? We found out at Celebration last year there's this Project Luminous. Everyone's like, what the hell is that? And we were going to find out at a later date. Well, that later date came, and Project Luminous was revealed to be a collaborative effort amongst all Star Wars authors to create a new era of Star Wars set 200 years before Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Is that accurate, Holly?
That's true.
That
God-
is accurate.
What, Jory, let me go to you first. What was your reaction to this? Did you see the trailer that they released?
I did. And a little shout out to Wade. Actually, I had no clue that it was going to drop on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or was it Tuesday or Monday? One of the two.
Yeah.
And so, when that finally dropped, I was able to watch it that night, and it's really cool. I mean, how they're going to basically, I think they're just going to start over with everything.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's
just going to
funny.
be a whole new story, a whole new everything. We're gonna build this into a whole series that could possibly be followed, kind of like episodes 1 through 9 were followed,
Yeah.
and create characters, create like just this whole thing that we fall back in love with, and take spin-offs, and I think it's going to be really cool.
Nettie, first initial thoughts. The High Republic. What were you expecting? Was this what you were expecting?
I can't say I had too many expectations, but
Yeah.
I say definitely seems pretty cool to me. Only thing I'm a little bit bummed out is I want to know where the movies are going next. Like
Yeah.
we touched on last Casual Council, the movies are what I come for Star Wars for, but
Yeah.
books are great. And
Yeah.
just I watched that trailer just a little bit before this for the first time, and the idea that they're all working together to kind of build this overarching story is what really appeals to me. Like if they can do something kind of like the MCU where like everything's connected together, I think that'd be really cool. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Holly, I made you watch the trailer.
Yeah, I actually watched it tonight for the first time.
Let's go. What were your thoughts?
I was excited, but you guys know I really like the books, and this is focused
Yeah.
really heavily on books. I like seeing. Sorry, I got distracted. I like seeing the cover art for the books, and I was kind of bummed that they didn't
It's
show you more.
amazing.
So I actually had to look it up, and I found that StarWars.com actually has them all listed, and there's a few on there right now that you can pre-order. And something that I noticed that I don't know if you guys saw, they kind of have a pretty cool mix of comics, young adult, middle readers, and then an actual adult novel. So
Yeah.
I kind of think that that's a really good mixture. There's something for everybody in there.
Yeah.
Kids, grown-ups, grown-up children. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll probably read all of them.
Yeah. It's absolutely all of them, even the young adult novels. I was a little surprised too. Now, Project Luminous didn't really tell us much, but in the past few weeks, they've been mentioning the High Republic. You heard that reference in places. You're like, okay, what does that mean? In my mind, we were going back in time. I think a lot of people assume that's what we were doing, but I honestly thought we were going further back in time. But now that I know we're only 200 years away from Episode 1, I mean, Yoda's in play, right? I mean, assuming that, well, let's see. How old was Yoda when he died?
900.
He's definitely in play.
So he's definitely in play.
I will say this.
Yeah.
They did confirm that this High Republic will not overlap with any of the characters.
Any of the characters.
I think that's what it says.
That's a big deal. Any of the characters.
Yes, it will only be new adventures and original characters.
Okay. Now I can't imagine though that older characters may not be referenced.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't really be able to reference too many characters because of how far back in time they're going.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you guys think would Yoda be the only one that they would possibly be able to reference?
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead, Nettie. Go ahead, Nettie.
What was the question? Sorry, that was
no. Any like so Yoda's in play, right? I mean, we established that.
Yep.
I mean, we got to hear references of him, right? I mean, is he a Jedi Master at this point? I don't know, but I feel like a name drop somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would think at least a name drop. I don't know if he'll, be a major character, and I don't know if I want him to be a major character, but I definitely think they should kind of bring him in, at least have him talk to somebody at some point or something. I just think that would be really cool.
Yeah, it to me. Let me get into my thoughts a little bit.
All right, let's hear it. Come on.
So when we went back 200 years in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a testing ground for Star Wars fans. Can I put that out there?
You did. Yes.
I feel like this is a testing ground. We're only dealing with novels and comic books, right? And young adult stuff. Yeah. This is a testing ground. They're finally doing what a lot of us have wanted for a long time, and it's to get all these creative minds, being the authors, along with Story Group, to come together and create a universe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing. But like Nettie said, people are going to want the movies. So I feel like we're going back a little back in time, and we're going to be talking about these Jedi Knight, which I guess the summary was that they're kind of these like Texas Rangers. They're out on like the periphery of where the known Republic was and known space was, right? Kind of keeping order, so to speak. So there's a lot out there. There's a lot of unexplored regions, a lot of unknown regions, I guess. That's how Star Wars speak. So do you guys buy that? Is it something you thought about, that maybe this is just a testing ground? If people are like, I don't know, it's like, cool, way we can go back further in time with the movies. Like, is that believable?
I definitely think it's believable. The more that I got into this, the more that I was like, I wanted this.
Yeah.
Because it's a brand new story, it's brand new characters, and even though they say it's all original characters, I mean, Yoda's technically an original character. So
Yeah.
I think that Yoda will be. I mean, this is just speculation. I think he'll be referenced. I think that he has to be at some point. I mean, at that time, he's got to be close to 700 years old. So I think he's definitely a Jedi Master at that point. I mean, if you're not a Jedi Master after 700 years, then I mean, what are you doing?
What are you doing with life? Am I right?
Exactly. But like I think that having these brand new characters and these books and these graphic novels, I 100% agree with you, Mike. I think it's a testing ground. But with the amount of people that they're putting, as far as minds putting into it, I would not be surprised if it becomes a movie at some point. That is a lot of resources to pour into it, to not have it be some kind of blockbuster, to make them the big money. I mean, because you're gonna make money off the novels. Yeah. But to have that kind of gathering, with 20 plus minds, all Star Wars related, and to not make $1 billion, I just don't see it happening. So I think that if they're not doing it with this, they're at least aiming for it.
Yeah. Nettie, what do you think? Is it possible that we're going to kind of create these characters and flesh them out a little bit for the fans, to really get them invested, and then maybe we take them to the screen, because we haven't done that really in Star Wars yet. Is that something they could be doing?
I think that'd be a really cool idea. Definitely a different idea, like you said. And see, I don't know. Is there any legends about this era? I don't know enough legends. I know like there's the Old Republic, but
and that's the thing. So the legends goes so far back that I mean, you have the Sith Empire, right? And you have the Mandalorians, and you have the Jedi, and the Republic. But once the war is over, there's just over 1,000 years of peace, right? I mean, there's just we haven't seen the Sith in over a millennia, and so it's like we're playing in this smaller sandbox, and maybe we're gonna grow that out. And we're going to say, hey, you're going to love these characters, one of which looks like Cal Kestis.
I said that,
from Fallen Order, which
we'll talk about that.
Rob, I have not finished the game yet. He's going to be really disappointed.
Oh, wait.
Wade. But
I have a question.
Yeah.
Was your smaller sandbox comment a slam on Anakin?
Oh, he hates it. Oh, I mean, Anakin's gone. We're not going to hear any more stories about him.
It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. Now, what you could see is maybe the beginning of this prophecy about Anakin. I'm glad you brought Anakin up, Holly.
You're welcome.
Maybe we learn the origins of this prophecy, right?
Sure.
Or maybe that's further back in time. But so I feel like we're playing in this smaller sandbox to get you to like these characters. And you know what? Maybe we make 3 movies about this era. But then, I mean, there's, like we talked about, there's this unknown regions. We can go to the Sith Empire. We can make 3 movies about that. And then ultimately, maybe years later, we see the two collide. We see them find out about each other. Are you guys familiar with that kind of era of the Sith Empire and any of that?
Very little.
Very little?
Yeah, very little. I did read Revan. So, I mean, back into Old Republic. And I read Bane. So, I mean, that's deeper. Obviously, that's 1,000 years prior to. So, I mean, I don't think we've ever had any legends in this time, because everything was either 1,000 years before, or it was post episode 6.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, everything, because George said, you can't touch anything before episode 4. So I don't believe that we have had anything in this time. So I'm really excited for it. I think another platform, because it is Disney Plus now, that they could have a streaming show.
Absolutely.
And they can make something, to test the waters even more, and to say, you know what, and even if it's not a show, it could be an original movie. A Disney original movie, and we're not going to make this a blockbuster thing. We're not going to spend whatever $200 million to make this movie. We're going to have a low budget of $50 million, and we're going to make this happen this way. And I think that that would be a very good way for them to test the waters even more so, and then be like, you know what, we're going to just pull the trigger and go all in.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So then here's a question. Nettie, you said that you were hoping that there would be, some movies for this era. Would you be satisfied with a TV show? Would that hold you over?
Definitely would hold me over, and I'm not gonna complain about any Star Wars content we get, but and I don't even care what the next movies are in this era, if they go back to the Old Republic, if they go forward. I just want to make sure they don't, abandon movies with all the new content too. But
I couldn't
as long
agree.
as we're getting stuff, I can't complain.
Well, think about what Marvel did, because I mean they have, like we said, a template, right? And Nettie mentioned that I think it was Nettie mentioned the Marvel properties earlier, and how they've kind of have this huge universe. Why not have a few films? So like the Marvel, you have the Marvel movies, and then you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? That is connecting that, so you could have a big blockbuster about the Sith Empire, or who knows, the Mandalorian, who knows, whatever we get, and then maybe these Walker Texas Ranger Jedi out on the frontier, and they keep running into things. They're like, what are these? What is this? What is it that we're dealing like? I don't know. They could play into each other like Marvel's done, and that might be the roadmap that they're starting here with these novels to, like I said, get us familiar with the characters,
Get you hooked.
what's going on in that time, because like Jory said, we don't know a whole lot about this time period. And you know what else I was thinking? If we're not going that far back in time, they're also doing something else. They're not messing with that legend stuff yet, because a lot of people's frustration with the new sequel trilogy is that it completely rewrote, all of those Legends books and lore that they love about Luke Skywalker, about Ben Skywalker, about Jason Solo, and Leia becoming a Jedi, like all these different things they loved that was taken away. So it almost as if they're like, we're going to hold on to those fans. We may just use some of those characters later on. We want to hook you now, and maybe we won't use that story completely about Revan, but you're going to see Revan, and the story's going to be a little different. Revan's actually a character that I think is so beloved, they will keep him in canon. Maybe do something a little different like Thrawn. But, I mean, his saber, they're making an FX saber of it, which I might have to drop $150, $200 on that puppy, but it's fine. The mortgage isn't any more expensive now. No, not at all.
I encouraged it. I said, it would be kind of cool if you took those lightsabers and you put them in the loft in the office.
She says this on air. I've never heard this. Go ahead.
Oh my God. And you put them up like katanas on the wall.
Wow. Lit at every hour of the day.
Yeah.
It's not very,
energy
efficient of you, but I like where your head's at.
Somewhere.
Phrasing. There's the one of the cast. So what do you guys think? Is it that big? Am I just crazy, or is this a plan? Is this the plan?
Oh, it's definitely the plan.
That's what
I definitely think so. I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, we can speculate all day on what we think is going to happen, but they have a plan.
Yeah.
They definitely do, and I, like I said earlier, I think that you don't just bring in that many minds to just be like, you know what, we're gonna make a few books. Yeah. No, there is a plan to hopefully make something bigger, and to really draw in the money. I mean, because we're talking about Disney here, talking about Disney wants to make money.
Yeah,
they really want to make money. And I think that they took a lot of what was done with the movies and with the fans and how the fan base was kind of split on certain things. I think they took that to heart. Yeah. And they're like, you know what, we need to maybe start over and figure our stuff out and, really make some people happy to make some money. I mean, because we bought this franchise for what, $4.1 billion?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah,
I might be wrong on that number. I'm not sure, but I think it was like 4.1 billion. They bought that from George Lucas. So, they need to make their money.
Yeah, I think they're smarter now because they're almost saying like, because before, remember when they showed us the whole like timeline, and it had like the Yoda movie, it had Solo, it had all these character-driven films, right? It's almost like they're just saying, we're going to set up a time period, and we're going to organically create and grow those characters through novels, through graphic novels, and we're going to see where that takes us. And I love what Jory's saying about bringing all these authors together to maybe like not just write a few books, but like maybe they are actually contributing to the larger story outside of these novels, and maybe even some of them get story credits in the films or the television shows. I mean,
that'd be cool.
You have fantastic story writers, and you're kind of holding them back to just novels when you put them in a story group. I mean, story group is going to make sure that they're hitting all the right notes as we go along, but like story group isn't necessarily developing stories. You know what I'm saying? Like typically they have a writer come in and do that, and they're just like, okay, does it fit with what we have? So you're bringing so many minds together. I can't imagine they're going to use that material just for books. Nettie, are we wrong?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Say, I definitely don't think they'll just keep things to books, especially some of those great minds. And so
Yeah.
one name I noticed that I didn't see in the list was Timothy Zahn, actually. So that definitely surprised me.
See,
I guess I
saw
know
him
he's
in the
working on his
video.
new trilogy, but
That's true. That's true. Now I thought I saw him in the
which
video. I may be mistaken, but
he might have been. Yeah, that's very possible.
I don't think he was listed. I don't think that they
Yeah.
had him speaking in the video, but he might have been in the room at the table.
So I thought I saw him at one point, but I might be mistaken. But yeah, no, you're right. But he is doing his trilogy, right?
Yeah, which I remember that was recently delayed. I wonder if this had
Yeah.
anything to do with that delay.
It
That
could be,
conspiracy
man.
hat on.
You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. That's a fantastic point. Maybe he needed to dedicate months to this or whatever, or maybe we need to figure out where Thrawn fits in all of this, right? Because they're going even further back in time with Thrawn before even the new trilogy that he just started. So how old is Thrawn? We don't know. We don't know it. We're gonna find out. We're gonna sure find out. But man, this area is, like they said in that trailer, is ripe for storytelling. And I really feel like Jory said they're listening to those fans. And I think they're going to bring in elements like they've done a great job of bringing in elements of Legends stuff like Thrawn and making it work. But you may see them canonize whole stories of Old Republic stuff. But it's almost like, hey, did you enjoy this kind of, not much is going to be different. I mean, they kind of make these characters look like they're from more of an older Republic time.
Well, they had please correct me if
Come
I'm
on.
wrong.
I have no problem with that. I'm kidding.
They had the gentleman who did the concept art for Darth Maul come in and do the concept art
They
for
did.
this, right?
That's cool.
I think that's super cool.
That
It's
is
super
really
cool to
cool.
bring those people back who have successfully created characters or like the visual of these characters before.
Yeah, absolutely. I am. I'm looking at one of them right now. I'm seeing a lot of yellow lightsaber action, a lot of cross guard action,
Mhm.
double bladed lightsaber. I mean,
Lots of robes.
lots of cool robes.
Classic.
But I'll be honest, guys, it feels like an older Republic time. But I mean that something that always kind of bothered me about Star Wars is that we go back thousands of years in the Old Republic time. And it seems like all the technology's the same, right? They're still using these hovercraft and these ships that literally have changed not at all in thousands
Hey,
of years.
But now the stormtroopers can fly.
They can fly now?
They can fly now.
Okay, that's your favorite part of the movie.
I don't know.
We remembered something from it, but I don't know. Do you guys feel that way about this? Like what you know of the Legends material in the Old Republic? Is anyone else saying what technology hasn't progressed in thousands of years? You're still using the same laser swords?
I mean, I guess if you can hit light speed, you don't have to advance your technology. I don't know. Yeah, they're just like, well, we've hit the pinnacle of everything, so we're just gonna plateau. We're good. Screw the scientists. We're golden.
It's definitely a possibility, but I almost feel like they're gonna kind of correct that a little bit, and that because to me they have kind of an older feel here. You got those cross guards, even their garb just kind of feels like an older Republic. But I mean, you go back thousands of years before that, and maybe it's a little more. I don't know if primitive's the right word, but maybe the weaponry is a little more.
I don't
a
know.
little more primitive. But
There's a comic book series that Kevin Scott is doing. These look like machine guns.
Hold on a second. We're gonna get to those guys. But well, you know what? The perfect segue. Let's talk about them now. Now, guys, they mentioned in this trailer the villains, right? They call them the Nile.
Yeah.
The Nile.
The Nile. I mean, Nettie, what's your first impression just seeing these guys, and what do we think their characteristics are?
So I assume these are the guys on this comic book, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the Nile. Yeah. So I think they described them as space Vikings, which that seems pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
I guess I've never read it, but the first thing I thought of is this kind of comparable to the Yuuzhan? So you guys know much about that than me, but
same thought crossed my mind. Because they said you have the Jedi, right? They're force wielders. They can move things with their freaking minds. They have laser swords that could essentially cut anything. And then you have these guys with staffs. What's so special about them? Well, we know the Yuuzhan Vong had an ability to literally diffuse the force. The Jedi could not use it against them. So what is going to make them such an adversary that the Jedi are terrified? Because they make them, I don't know, it was the music they were using when they were describing them. I'm like, holy cow, these guys sound really badass.
Yeah.
But like, why? You know, like what, Jory? When you see that, and you got a little bit of an understanding of maybe the Yuuzhan Vong, and what is going to make these guys such an intimidating force?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't, because I mean, I kind of go forward to the Knights of Ren, and I'm like, why are they, you know, like, you know, with the Jedi? I mean, granted, there weren't any other fully trained Jedi at the time when the Knights of Ren were, you know, wreaking havoc throughout the galaxy, but you know, it's kind of that same thing where, you know, they're not Force users, or I guess we don't know, I guess, if they're going to be Force users. They could be.
They could be.
Force users that just don't have any lightsabers. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of in that same boat. I don't know if do you guys ever play God of War?
No, but I've seen it.
Okay, there was a character that was that looked a lot like the main character of God of War. His name's Kratos, or I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but there was a character that just flashed it on screen real quick, and I was like, hey. And so I don't know.
I saw
there's
that.
probably some other video gamers that are going to be in the same wavelengths as I am.
Well, and you think of other kind of, I mean, it's not just, you know, the Force is in everything, right? I mean, it binds us, it penetrates us. It could be, they could have, we have the Night Sisters, right? Like literal magic that we have the freaking Caravan of Courage, you know, magical rocks and sticks. That's canon right there, folks. I'm sorry. I do not believe it. Yeah.
Did you see the storyboard? I paused it just to start reading some of their ideas. They had Ewoks. Question mark.
Let's go.
Right? They had Ewoks. They had. They actually had a Chewbacca, and I don't know if they just meant Wookiees, but they said Chewbacca, and I'm like, hold on now.
There is a Wookiee on one of the concept art covers.
Yep.
They have a Wookiee on the Light of the Jedi book cover.
And you guys want to, if you're looking at that cover, you want to know what that's a callback to?
Yes.
The holiday special.
Oh my God.
I am not kidding. Look at that freaking Wookiee and tell me that isn't Chewbacca in his red robe at the end of the holiday special.
Is he wielding a lightsaber, Michael?
That's a personal question, Holly. But don't spit that drink out, Jory. I saw it coming. It was coming right at the camera. Phrasing.
Wow.
Very close.
God, guys,
Very
I'm on a roll right now. But tell me that isn't. I'm gonna put a freaking picture of it up on the video so people can see it. It is a Wookiee Jedi with a laser sword with a robe, and that imagery there just took me to the holiday special. The end scene with Chewbacca in his red robe, and Carrie Fisher is singing, and it's oh so beautiful, and it goes on oh so very long. So if you haven't seen the holiday special, do yourself a favor and go watch it.
I have not seen the holiday special.
Have a beer in hand. We'll make it a holiday tradition. This Christmas, it'll happen.
Okay.
But so we were talking about so you said the Ewoks and it said Chewbacca. I mean, what are we taking elements of those characters, or could the Ewoks show up?
That would be cool.
I mean,
we would like.
I mean, we'd have to go back. I mean, I don't really know if they're on other planets than the forest moon of Endor, but I mean, I guess we'd go back.
Are we getting an Ewok origin story? Is that what's happening here?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know that they necessarily originated on Endor. Maybe they had technology. Let me hear me out. They crash land on their ship. they're forced to adopt a more primitive lifestyle.
Is that why they're so angry?
What I mean, you would be too if you were stranded
Yeah.
in a forest with no
Sure.
technology, no.
And we don't know how long Ewoks live.
Exactly.
I mean, how old is Logray?
That's a fan. I think he's still kicking it.
He could be.
We may see a young Logray in this series. Who knows? He could have been a Jedi at one point, and he lost his laser sword, and their plane crashed, and now he's summoning magic.
Would it have to be a laser sword?
Oh, well, I mean, no.
Do they make miniature ones?
Miniature laser sword.
I just feel like
I think
if you're
Yoda
an
had
Ewok-
that edition, and I don't know if
I
they've
don't
ever
know.
made it
Listen,
again.
all I'm saying is if you're an Ewok, you're
Yeah.
not going to run around with a normal lightsaber.
Well, yeah. No, the Ewoks, I mean, they weren't great with technology, but I'll tell you right now, in the Battle for Endor, some of them were picking up those blasters like they've been shooting them all their lives. It was a little intimidating.
What's an Ewok's weapon of choice?
Rocks. And
Effective.
and logs, right? I mean,
Rocks are probably more effective than logs.
so I that would be fantastic if we saw Ewoks. Anything else on that storyboard, Joy? That's a great call to freeze frame that.
Honestly, I read through it, and those are the two that were just really stuck out. Of what
Yeah.
in the world? So you said earlier the Sith Empire. That was one of them too. That they had written down, and I thought that was pretty crazy. I mean, it's not crazy because the Sith Empire, as we know, continued on for the rule of two.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they do show the Sith Empire, it would kind of be. This is a little bit of a spoiler for Bane. So if you don't want to hear it, pause and go ahead a minute. But at the end of that series, pretty much that whole the Sith Empire was in secret, and you still got everything from their point of view. And they were almost caught a couple times, and if we're going to see any of that, I think it'll be in secret. It'll be hey, the Jedi are coming.
Yeah.
We may have found something. We don't know. It's a dark side user.
Yeah.
And then they get out of it, and that would actually be really cool if they kind of took it from Bane at that point of we're gonna have them hunting down these people, but then it turns out that they tricked them in some way and kept themselves secret.
That would be freaking sick.
Are you writing for Lucasfilm?
They're listening right now. Maybe I was in that meeting, and I said, "Sorry, no film photography, please. Got a podcast to run. Can't become too famous."
Oh, certainly not.
Because that's definitely the goal here on Flying Casual. Sorry, too many inside jokes. I gotta focus myself.
Calm yourself down.
I'm just now I'm imagining that storyboard. The Sith Empire. Here's something I was thinking, guys. I know this is, I don't want to call it a competing franchise, but it's a good franchise. The Star Trek franchise.
Boo.
Not a big Star Trek fan?
No, I never got into it. Yeah, I wasn't against it. Actually, I was kind of against it. It was just my stepdad watched it a lot, and I love my stepdad, but I just hated the show.
That's okay. Nettie, were you ever into Star Trek?
I haven't seen too much of it, actually. So I've seen the new JJ movie, the first one, and then a couple episodes of the original, but that's about it. So I've always meant to watch more, but
you
never
guys
got to it.
You understand the basic concept, right? You have,
Oh, definitely. I love the movies. The movies were great. I just couldn't get into the show.
And that's fair. The movies were great. So I kind of like the fact that there's these not the unknown regions as we know it now, but all this unexplored territory, and we have to explore it. What are we going to come across? What species out there are we going to discover? Or what species may we uncover that we already are familiar with, and we're like, yeah,
that one.
Jim Bob, whatever his name was.
Jim Bob.
I think there's a lot of potential there to have that kind of Star Trek kind of quality to it. I don't know.
Well, I think that's the approach that they're trying to take, not Star Trek specifically.
Yeah.
But definitely giving these writers the ability to kind of create these new characters and new species on new planets and kind of show you like what else is out there, which I think is really exciting. Ultimately,
Yeah.
I feel like even you, Michael, you say a lot of the draw that you have to Star Wars is like seeing those new planets.
Absolutely. I think this has the potential to really just, I mean, we were talking about that, about the Cassian Andor series. I think that also does, but like this especially, I mean, if you're going to do movies and television and books, I mean, we are blowing this universe up, even though we are, you know, just exploring a lot of it. But that's what a great way to planet hop and learn more about them than to literally be learning about them for the first time. So I think that's a freaking awesome idea. Now, back to the Nile. Nettie, like, when they talked about them, did you see them as like they're going to be this, because they say the Nile, but then if I correct me if I'm wrong, they mentioned an unknown threat or something. Am I wrong?
So I've only watched it the one time, so I'm not sure. I might be forgetting something. I do know they made the comment like the series starts off with some like tragedy or something, and I'm wondering what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the heck could that be?
They also seem to be focusing on like that space station looking thing.
Yes.
See, I know there's like a couple concept outs of it. It's in the background of like the cover for like Light of the Jedi, and I want to know what that thing is too.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, are they just destroyed by an unknown threat and they're like, we got to seek vengeance, like we got to find out who did this, let's go, and they're like, it's uncharted territory, folks, we got to be careful. So it could be a major disaster like that really piques the Republic's interest and says there's threats out there and we need to know what they are so we can prepare better. Is it the Sith? Is it just the Nile? Is it something new? Because we need to all go watch that again, because I feel like they talked about another threat that is unknown, and that the Nile were something separate, that the Nile are going to be, you know, what the Jedi run to kind of on the outer regions of the Republic, and that there's something out there that they won't experience for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Dozens of years. I don't know.
Hundreds of thousands.
Or maybe that's what we're just supposed to know, that there has been an unknown threat out there for thousands of years, and they will just now discover that.
But okay, so picture this.
Come on, lay it out for me.
Like what
phrasing? Whoa.
Wow. What we see in Star Wars could just be a blip in the galaxy, the universe.
You're going to take me right back to all that existential crisis that I'm in right now.
But think about it. Go into those unknown regions. There could be something similar happening with somebody else.
Absolutely.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
We could be thrown. We have no
That's why I love, you know, kind of the expansion of the universe. And like, I think the perfect thing in Star Wars is when you get just that little bit of nostalgia and then get that expansion. You know, kind of like we talked about with Phasma, you know, and her not being from Jakku, yeah. You know, her not being Jakku, and then her, you know, coming from Parnassus, and it just made the universe bigger. And if we continue to do that and continue to expand, you know, I think it's fantastic, you know, just continuing to make everything bigger, continuing to build off stories, and then still get those little tie-ins though. You know, those tie-ins are what bring everything together, bring us back, you know, remind us of our childhood. But getting everything continuing forward and learning, I think that's just the best part of Star Wars.
Absolutely. So, Nettie, is there anything you're wanting to get out of this? I know you want some movies. Is there anything else that you really want to take from this new Star Wars? What is there anything in particular you're hoping for?
Nothing's jumping to mind at the moment. Just excited to see some new stories and new era to explore. I know I made the mistake of going into the Facebook comments and some of these announcements, which is never a good idea.
Oh.
But there's a lot of people
what
that
saying?
like like I want to go like forward with more Rey. I want to go back to the Old Republic, and like I do want to see more Rey eventually.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to see this too. Like,
Yep.
I'm happy with exploring any of these areas that they can, and I'm just looking forward to it definitely.
And have you noticed, like, people are just kind of casually talking about the High Republic like they know what the hell it is? Have you noticed just them releasing that title and a couple of images, and people feel like they fully accept it. They know what they just. I mean, we're talking about it right now. Like, we're so excited for it, and they've just given us a title.
You know what it is, Michael?
What?
It's because it feels like home.
God, it does, doesn't it?
It does.
It just, I'm kind of surprised, and I shouldn't be, but after that sequel trilogy and so much, disdain for it, and I feel like I can say that because a lot of people did not like what they did. Are you as surprised as I am that you're hearing really great feedback? People are like, yeah, let's go. It's like, you have no idea what it is. You just know it's going 200 years back, which isn't that long.
This is Mike Zero here.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Yeah, right. I mean,
No,
we have just
sure.
limited details, right?
Yeah.
And like, I think ultimately, like, if you Google the High Republic, it's literally just a bunch of people blogging and basically regurgitating what StarWars.com already told us.
Yeah.
Because nobody really knows what's going on, but they love it. They love the details. Everyone's really latching on to every little detail of all of these covers. We might have to do a deep dive into some of the concept art for these covers.
Yeah.
On an upcoming episode, so get ready for that. But
yeah,
I don't know. Everyone's just so excited because we just need more.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of surprised by it. And so the High Republic itself, they're describing it, is the time of ultimate peace in the Republic, right? That's why they call it the High Republic. So if the Jedi haven't confronted the Sith in 1,000 years, I mean, I can't imagine that in this at least storyline we'll even encounter them at all. And that's why I think the Nihil are going to have to be very, very, very strong foe. And they're going to have an ability, whether it's magic or just, I don't know. I feel like just some, organic enemy, just like the Yuuzhan Vong. And it's just, I guess it's hard to dispute that their power to diffuse the Jedi power is like silly, because all of it's kind of silly. It's all kind of magic, but they're just gonna have to be really powerful villains, because that's what Star Wars does. They make great freaking villains. So I mean, let's do it. And are we gonna learn more about them from their perspective? Right? Like, we see a ton of Jedi here. Mm-hmm. But, we're only kind of now recently learning about the Empire, what was going on, their stories, where, what people did. Like, some people didn't really like it. They just were forced to work in it. Like, is it going to take time? Are we going to learn about the Nihil, at the same point in time? Or what do you guys think? They're just going to be an enemy and they're just going to show up, we'll fight them, and they'll retreat, or what are we going to see?
I think the Nihil could end up being similar to, and I know I keep going back to the Knights of Ren, but I think they could be similar to them, because that was a story we just didn't get. Yeah. We still haven't really learned a ton about the Knights of Ren, and it's something that maybe Story Group saw and they're like, hey, we kind of capitalize on what this could have been. So let's tell a different story about, a similar topic, and the Nihil could be, connected to a Snoke-ish character.
Yeah.
And that Snoke-ish character being the Sith Lord at the time.
Yeah.
And them just trying to do his bidding and do their Sith plots while keeping not out of the range of the Jedi, but keeping the actual Sith out of the range of the Jedi.
Yeah, it makes me think of Lord of the Rings for some reason when you're talking about someone doing their bidding, like some ultimate master even creating or this force, this army to keep the Jedi at bay or whatever, like you said, maybe to even keep them away from the Empire so they don't, so they can continue to build force and eventually destroy the Jedi or the Republic.
A little sleight of hand. Look over here while I'm doing this over here.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And I had a thought, and it just went like that. I don't know what it was. And now it'll phrasing. It will.
So it sounds like we think that we'll get these Nihil, but there's another big baddie in the background doing something.
That's what I got from the trailer. Now let everyone go back and watch it, because I felt like that was the point. And maybe we'll never find out who it is until like the movie comes out or a television show. But they can do a lot in the novels, right? Like there's not gonna be a lot of visual here, so they can do a lot with the storytelling, and they got to be a great foe. And I love that Jory was bringing up this is what I was gonna say. I love that he's bringing up the Knights of Ren, because in the comic book, the Kylo Ren comic book, we see them. They're not, none of them other than one is carrying a lightsaber. They have very kind of primitive weapons, so to speak, axes, and you saw it in the Rise of Skywalker. None of them had lightsabers. But in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic book, the leader of them states, like, there's some guy using the Force to float something in his hand. He's like, yeah, we can all do that. So they imply that they all have the Force, yet they don't have a lightsaber. So I think Nettie said it earlier. They could, in fact, have the Force. Just because they don't have a lightsaber doesn't mean they don't have the Force. Doesn't mean they couldn't crush someone's skull with their bare hands. So that could just make them, a Force alone, is that they have the ability to manipulate their surroundings, or they have super speed, or who knows what they have. But don't let the primitive weapons, fool you. As much as the Knights of Ren, those seemed intimidating, Kylo really sure handed it to him in the Rise of Skywalker. I will say that pretty handedly. So you guys listening, let us know what you expect from the High Republic. Is any of this sitting with you? Do you have some other thoughts? Do you want to go back further in time? Is this just a testing ground? We're going to find out soon enough, that's for sure. Now, Nettie, you had a great topic for this conversation, and I want to touch on it.
Everything.
Wow. That was a good one, Holly. That was
she beat me to it because I was muted.
So many phrasings. Nettie, what was that topic?
So I was just thinking, since Clone Wars, is kind of back from the dead, from being canceled, if there was any other Star Wars projects out there that you would have liked to see come back in any form or fashion. Probably not necessarily likely for a lot of them, but if there was anything out there, so.
Jory?
I mean, I'm always down for Bane. Always.
Yeah.
Always. That story was just, it was really, really captivating. And to see how, because I've always been a light side guy. Always. And so, but to see how, he came from what he was, and then his mindset, and granted, you always get more with the novels than you do in the movies, but just to see how his mind worked and how he came from a guy that was just, a beat down, just a grunt worker.
Yeah.
And then, he had these powers, and then he was, brought into the Brotherhood of Darkness, and then, how he took down the whole Sith. I mean, it wasn't even Sith, it was just the Dark Side Empire, and created the Rule of Two. Just the whole story was great, and I would love to see that. I don't think we'll ever get it. I really don't. But it would be really cool to see it.
I love that series too, because they almost make you feel empathetic for him in the beginning, right? He's their planet or their city, I can't remember what it was. It's hardly any work. Got to work in the mines. Boss is a dick. Like, they just really make you feel for him. Like, there was a reason behind turning, right? Just like Anakin. Like, there was a reason behind him turning. It was for the one he loved. And Bane was just a working class guy just trying to make a living and just getting beat the heck out of him. And he said enough's enough. I mean, he's an intimidating guy to begin with, right? But it made you understand. And they've done films have been doing a great job with kind of not explaining or making it okay why, you know, people turn dark or whatever. Like The Joker, I thought was one of the best movies I'd seen in a long time, and just made you understand a little why he was the way he was. And it wasn't okay, but it made you understand it a little more. And so Bane was fantastic. Yeah, George.
The best villains are always somebody who you can empathize with.
Yeah.
Right.
It always. I mean, you just brought up the Joker. That was a great one. And then Thanos in the newest Avengers. I mean, just being able to empathize not empathize with him, but understand their thought process behind it. And, you know, it's not always something that they want to do, but it's something that they think that they have to do. And so, like, getting that backstory and how and why, like, yes, Palpatine was a great villain. But the backstory we always got was, you know, he just was power hungry. He was just, he seemed just angry all the time and wanting to further himself, where with some of these other villains we get, and you're like, you know, you understand just a sliver of where they're coming from.
Well, and even Palpatine and Plagueis in Darth Plagueis, the novel, his dad talks to him like he's not his son. He's terrible to him. He comes from a wealthy family, and he eventually says enough's enough, right? Plagueis runs into him and recruits him, but you feel for him. And that's what's so great about these storytellers is, and these villains like Thanos, you see what they've become. You're like, man, they're just power hungry. They just want to, you know, just destroy everything. It's like, it wasn't always that way. They may have become that way. Greed and power may have kind of overcome them. That's definitely how Palpatine became. He's afraid of losing his power. But it started somewhere. And sometimes it's just they were treated terribly. And it's so fantastic. So, I mean, what main villains are we going to get? Are we going to get something like that? Are we going to find out why maybe some of these Nihil, maybe it's a small group, maybe it's a huge army, maybe it's a people. We don't know, but why are they the way they are? Are they pure evil, or is it just they happen to be on the other side of the Jedi? Yeah.
And this kind of goes back, and I still want to hear, Nettie, what you want to say as far as where you want Star Wars to go. But this kind of goes back to story group, and this is with all due respect to JJ, all due respect to Rian Johnson, all due respect to even George Lucas. But when you put 20 plus writers together, and you get all these minds that have been thinking and putting together their own stories about where they want Star Wars to go, I think that they could come up, especially with Story Group, come up with a story that could really blow our minds. Because you have 20 plus minds of people that have lived Star Wars their whole life and are creative and in a way that they can bring everything together and really just honestly, they can make it better than the sequels. They can make it better than the prequels. I mean, once again, this is with all due respect to everything we've already gotten, but you have all these great minds together. I mean, you can come up with a story that really just brings together what the fans want to see.
And they've often proven themselves time and time again. I mean, Claudia Gray is one of them, right? It's just proving time and time again that all of them love Star Wars, but they're fantastic writers, and the people love the stories they're telling. So why wouldn't you tap into that more and say, what else can you do? We're going to put on a huge scale, and you're going to get all these other credits, and it's opening up for more novels and opportunities. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Nettie, I gotta know. So what is it that what would you, my friend, want to bring back and either maybe reconceptualize or bring back in its entirety?
Yeah, see, immediately the first thing that came to my mind when I was thinking about this was some of the canceled video games.
Yeah.
Most notably was two of them. There was a canceled Darth Maul game that was basically, from what I heard, it was basically a pitch of like a Batman Arkham style game, which those are fantastic games with Darth Maul, and that just sounds amazing to me. And then the other one was Star Wars 1313, which I think it was starring Boba Fett, but it just looked like a really cool, gritty Coruscant look, and both those games just looked fantastic. And I just want to see more video games too. And I think Fallen Order has done pretty well, so I'm hoping, Disney's kind of a little more lenient with video games in the future. But
yeah, Jory.
I know that we don't know what's going to happen with the Mandalorian, but could they make 1313 with the Mando? That would be pretty awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wasn't that game almost ready for release at the point where it got canceled?
It was like
it had
weeks,
a lot of progress,
I believe. I mean, I don't know if I'm right, but it seemed like it was like maybe not weeks, but like it was like on the cusp of being released, and they're like, nope, scrap it.
That's very, very surprising. And now, Nettie got me thinking about a Darth Maul Arkham-style game where Maul has lost his legs and his power in the universe. And he's like, crap, I have got to find my way back to the top. And you just go through his story. Am I alone? Would that be awesome?
That
Did
would be
Maul
awesome.
lose belly button? I know we were talking about belly buttons, but
It's
did Maul lose
close.
belly button?
I mean, do you recall, Holly, where he was sliced in half?
I don't.
It was around the belly button area. So it's like I mean, we know a lot of his story, but I can see him going around, creating his crime syndicate, right? And I think that would be freaking fantastic. Going to Dathomir sometimes, seeing the Night Sisters. I don't know. Like, God, that would be freaking awesome. What is it that you love so much about those games, Nettie, and especially those older games?
I'll say I'm gonna throw a curveball nobody's expecting here, but I'm pretty much a complete nerd. So when I'm not thinking about Star Wars, I'm thinking about video games. So
I don't know, my friend. You're not a big Trekkie, so there's room to go further down the nerd line.
That's a good point. But yeah, so like I said, those are like two of my biggest passions. So when they can come together and be such an enjoyable experience, it's combining two of the things I love the most. And just, again, it also gives you that chance for a new story too. Like we've been talking about, new stories are always great. And while I'm talking, I just pulled up a photo of Darth Maul from Clone Wars, and it looks like the belly button would have been taken off here.
Oh, wow.
Guys, I really thought we would never talk about belly buttons on the podcast
Well,
again.
It's happened a lot.
Thanks, Jory.
And who knows how many he has? Just one? Is it 5?
Ew.
I mean, does he have as many belly buttons as he does horns?
He could have like multiple umbilical cords. We just don't know.
Can you imagine seeing him in the womb then?
No.
All those horns, all those umbilical cords. That's got to be some concept art out there somewhere.
Could you imagine then birth? I mean, oh, jeez.
Oh God, I know. We'll have to ask Palpatine because he was around when he was a baby, so maybe he has stories. Because you hear him talk about getting Maul as a baby from his mother. Yeah, Darth Plagueis. That's one you might have to read, Holly.
Yeah, probably.
I know we're pretty much a strictly canon book club.
Are we? Did I decide that?
Nah.
No.
Nah. Doors open for legends, but
Maybe.
no, I feel you, Nettie.
All I have to say about the book club is that once High Republic comes out, that better be September's book.
Oh, yeah, on the list.
Shoot, you know
Yeah.
that I'm gonna get those pre-orders in.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Books on Holly. You heard it here. She is opening up the fund. And Nettie, I know what you're talking about, man, because see, I love like Empire War. It doesn't really add a whole lot of story, but man, that was a fun game. I just sit there and have 8-hour battles into the night, and it'd be a draw, or I'd get my butt whooped. Who knows? But it was epic moments, and it was so fun. But you got a little of that Star Wars flair in there. But the stories, man, I'm loving like what they did with Fallen Order, even though I haven't finished it. But I love the villains they've created in this story. It's such a unique perspective on a time that we feel like we know so much about. Order 66 and the creation of we feel like we know all of it, and then they still throw that story at us, and it's freaking beautiful. And Cal is such an awesome character, and I'm kicking myself I did not get the Black Series figure of him.
Shoot.
Yeah, there's still time. It's probably $100 now on Amazon, but we'll see. So yeah, loving the freaking games. Holly, is there something that you would maybe want to bring back that you're familiar with?
Guys, I'm so overwhelmed with all the content that I'm learning exists right now that I don't even know if I could tell you anything.
That's okay.
I will say I agree with having a little bit more Night Sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really enjoy them as characters.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty badass. So.
They're freaking sick, and you learn about them some in the Clone Wars.
And you know, the magic in the Star Wars universe, like we see in Rebels with like Zeb, and I just I don't know a lot about that, and I need more of that.
It's not even always the planets that expand the universe. It's that kind of lore the culture behind it. Yeah, I mean, that make the joke about the Caravan of Courage and the Battle for Endor, but I mean that was magic that they were using, and it was the Force we know now, but like it just adds extra flair to it, and it makes these villains sometimes even, or other heroes, a little more unique because we're so used to lightsabers, and that's great. And it looks like we're going to get a ton of them in the High Republic area, and I understand that. But yeah, new powers and magic that would make fantastic competitors for our Jedi. You're right. I would love to learn more about that, and I don't think we do enough of that right now. Because I feel like there was a time where people were just like, I'm not getting enough lightsaber action. And now it's kind of like, here's all of it. Like, I like those times,
You're going to get these books on the banned book list like Harry Potter was.
Oh, wow. Seriously.
Wow.
Seriously. But, I mean, that's something.
So many Harry Potter references.
Oh, my God. I know. Tiffany's going to kill me. We're gonna so she can tell everyone that it's a huge joke and that we really don't hate each other or hate Harry Potter.
Cal Kestis Black Series, you can find it on GameStop.com for $25.
Okay, so it hasn't went up much. That's not too bad. Let's be honest, Holly, I don't need any more figures, right?
Where would you put them?
That's a great question. It's the longest nightmare. Phrasing. Great question. There's so many options.
Don't want to know.
And over, I'll show you.
Well, guys, anything else that's on your mind about our favorite universe, Star Wars?
This is completely off topic.
Come on.
Let's hear it.
Completely off topic, but I feel like we have to have a moment of silence for Snap Wexley.
Wow. Well, we never talked about that at all.
I know, because I actually had it in my notes for the last time we talked, and then we never got to it, and I never brought it up, but such an amazing character through Aftermath and Bloodlines, I believe he was in, and just like, he's not a character that you would know if you weren't into the novels, but just a fantastic character and I believe he was really the only major, other than obviously Palpatine dying in The Rise of Skywalker, but he was really the only major death he's probably a major death. I'm sorry.
Or did he? Now you're getting the freaking Reylo fans all excited. Yes, he did die.
Jory, they're gonna come after you. You better be careful.
Reylo fans. But as far as like, I guess just side characters,
Yeah.
he's the only death that we had that, I mean, when he died, I was like, no, like, and so I watched it with my wife, and she was kind of like, because I actually like audibly gasped, and she's like had no clue, obviously, but and I watched it again with my dad, and I don't know if he even really picked up on it because I don't know if he read Aftermath,
Yeah.
but it was just like, yeah, that's a huge death.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. One of our main protagonists from the new canon original stories, and we didn't give him a minute of discussion.
I think I saw a couple articles on the internet that were like, I thought they were like clickbait, like this major Star Wars character died and nobody noticed, and I was like, okay.
I mean,
But
yeah, it was just. I was so taken aback with Ben Solo and what was happening. I didn't even process everything that happened. And don't ask Luke about it because he doesn't remember any of the movie.
Gotta watch it for a fourth time.
You know, seriously, that's gonna happen. But that's a great point, Jory. I mean, we probably gonna have to, you know, have a remembrance or a eulogy or something.
A vigil
on the podcast. You know, an eternal flame, so to speak, for Snap Wexley, a hero, a hell of a pilot, an annoying brat of a teenager. I will say that a little bit, but one hell of a rebel.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Nettie, anything else on your Star Wars mind? Can I plug this shirt? Because my friend, when we freaking hooked up Skype, I was like, "Are you kidding me? We have a purple shirt." How did I not know that? Well, I knew that because I picked the colors. But that thing looks freaking sick.
And for those of you who are not watching this on YouTube,
yeah, that's a great point,
watch it
Holly.
on YouTube.
Yeah, Holly, I'm not great about plugging all of our formats, but yeah, go on YouTube and check this out. Nettie's rocking it right now. It's a sick light purple Flying Casualty only on TeePublic. I'm getting one now myself because that purple is sick.
It looks awesome. It looks much more purple now.
Do I look good in purple? Would
You look great in
be able
purple.
to pull that off?
Probably with the
because it looks
flannel.
fantastic on Nettie.
It does. It might look better on Nettie than it would look on you.
Well, I know it will. Yeah, I'm wearing an old shirt right now. I won't mention it, but it's an old shirt. But that one is freaking sick. So guys, check out TeePublic and type in Flying Casual, and you'll see our storefront there. Some fun shirts. Need to get more on there. Been meaning to work on that. Life's just been pretty busy, but that shirt is freaking sick, Nettie, and I'm so glad you picked it up. Anything else on your mind, man, going on in Star Wars?
Nope, no things right now. Just excited to see what the future holds.
Absolutely. I'm kind of shocked by how much has happened. I felt like we were going to have some dry periods, you know, even with Clone Wars, but man, the news just keeps coming. The speculation was hot tonight. I'm going to say that with a capital H. It was hot. We were flaming. Whoa, phrasing. Cheetos. Is that a thing?
I don't know. I just made it.
Flaming hot Cheetos.
Can you imagine if we ate Cheetos on the podcast, though? That wouldn't be good.
We sponsored?
That wouldn't be good. Well, I would definitely take a Cheetos sponsorship, but I don't think we should eat them.
Do they sell Cheetos? You know how you can get those cheese balls in the giant container?
Here we go.
Do they make Cheetos in the giant container?
You'd have to get a bunch of bags.
All right. Well, do you like the crunchy ones or do you like the bigger ones? Phrasing.
Well, phrasing. I like them crunchy and big. Yeah, I have both.
You can have both.
Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for that. The FCC won't let me be. Won't everybody me just. Oh wow! Now we're gonna get copyrighted.
Dude, I'm just so glad we're on the same wavelength, Mike, because as soon as you said that, I just started singing in my head.
You gotta love M. We love everything here on Flying Casual, not just Star Wars. Some of us like Star Trek. All of us like Eminem, apparently. And there's a lot of love here for a lot of things, but especially Star Wars. Guys, I cannot thank you enough. This is one of my favorite conversations we've ever had. I even think it blows away our last conversation. And it's so awesome getting to know you guys better. week in and week out, not just on the casual sessions, but in the group, talking. We're texting now. Like it's you guys are friends, and we're gonna keep this thing going. Holly, that goes for you too.
I'll be here.
You'll be here.
Yes.
Okay, we didn't scare you away with the casual council.
There's still time, but
There's still time. There really is. And you guys listening, you can also join on these conversations. I hope we didn't scare you away listening too, but it's just a lot of fun here. We do this episode monthly, meeting with these guys, checking in, seeing how they're doing, what's new in their lives, what's new in Star Wars. And then we honestly just get sweaty for an hour and a half at least. I don't think we've ever gone anything less because we tend to talk for an hour after the podcast. Just to check in, see how everyone's doing. But if you want to join that too, like I said, go to Patreon, check out those tiers. If there's one that's right for you and you are willing to throw a little donation in there, we appreciate that. And if you can't, just keep listening. You can go on Apple Podcasts. You can give us a 5-star review. You can listen on Spotify. You can tell your friends. You can share in the Facebook group. You can share in Facebook. You can do all these things that help us out. So it's not just monetary assistance that does a lot for us. It's really just word of mouth, letting people know, hey, there's a few nerds that like Star Wars out there, and you should check them out. Yeah, Jory.
So I want to plug you guys and hope that people go on iTunes and give you 5-star reviews because there are some sketchy reviews in there right now.
Let's go.
And I'm not gonna name names, obviously, but like there are some things in there. We got some 1 stars that
suspect.
Definitely suspect. and just say, these guys don't know Star Wars and these guys don't whatever they said. It's just a bunch of hokey. So if you're a fan of Flying Casual, please go on Apple iTunes and give that 5-star review, because like right now it's like down to a 4.0 and this is a 5.0 podcast. And it's not even close. It's not even close. So guys, if we can, let's boost that rating. Let's get some sponsors in here. Let's get some good stuff going with Flying Casual.
Buddy, I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll take all the 5-star reviews we can get, guys. And you know what? If you have, really good constructive feedback, we will absolutely take that. If you're not feeling a 5-star and you want to put something else on there, that's great. Give us some feedback. Let us know what we can do better. I totally appreciate that. We'll take the feedback that we can get, but if you're liking what you hear, like Jory said, go give it a 5-star review because it does help. It does get the word out. And it just, lets us know that you like what we're doing and give us a little review in there. Let us know what it is you like, or send us an email if you want. Let us know how we're doing. Send in a theory there. What do you think about the High Republic? What does it mean? Was it really the high point of the Republic? If there's an unknown threat out there,
we'll find out.
The not so High Republic, maybe.
Oof.
But guys, do whatever you can to reach out to us, and we appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening. Jory and Nettie are some of the best guys I have got to meet, and they're some of the best Star Wars fans that we know personally. And it's so great that we get the opportunity and that they're willing, to help us out a little bit and have these conversations with us because they literally mean the world to me. I'd rather be doing nothing other than this on a Friday night, having a beer with my friends, with Holly, talking about Star Wars, and just breaking it down and having a good time because time flies. And if it weren't for this memory card that has only a few minutes left, I would go for days. Phrasing again. But I do hope you guys are enjoying these sessions. We're going to continue them. This is only the second of many. We're going to keep doing it. Like I said, David and Brent are going to be on here next session. They're out saving the Republic. Sometimes that means being stuck in traffic. And that happens.
It does.
LA's a tough place. So I wouldn't know that. I'm only from Ohio, but it sounds tough.
You'll know it in August.
I'll know it. Oh, my God. Yeah, we'll have to hit up Brent and see if he's coming to Celebration and meet up with him.
Or if he can give us some LA tips.
Yeah, or a ride, probably. Yeah, sit in traffic a little more. But yeah, so those guys are going to be joining us. I can't wait to get to meet them more. I know Nettie and Joy are excited to meet those guys. We want to hear their Star Wars story because honestly, like I just like with these guys, like I'm learning to get to know them, but like I feel like we're going to be immediate friends. And we're just going to stay in touch and keep talking Star Wars. I'm looking forward to it more than anything. So look out for the next casual council session coming out in March. And we're also scheduling now for trivia trials.
Get ready.
Now, Jory, my friend, has expressed interest in being a first contender. Now, Jory, I will announce in this episode of Casual Council that your competitor will be none other than Jedi Master Brent. So this is gonna be an interesting.
Brent, I'm coming for you, bud.
That's good.
Ooh, fighting words.
I love
Brent.
it. That's good promotional material there. I like it. I actually may have you guys record a little promotional
a message
footage
to each other.
Ooh, that could be hot and steamy.
I like it.
It might have to go on the Patreon only just because it could get
Is it gonna be
Conor
shirtless?
McGregor.
I fully expect it. I will edit that thing to a point where you guys may not say one swear word, but I will put 20 bleeps in it just so it seems extra violent. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I'm so excited. We've never, Holly, done a trivia trials via Skype.
We haven't.
But as good as this conversation goes, I think it's going to be seamless.
Oh, it's going to be epic.
I cannot wait for it. I know those guys are deep in Star Wars lore. It's going to be epic. I do not have a film set yet, but I'm thinking Rogue One may be a contender to start with. So we will see what my mind goes to and give those guys a chance to study up and get that scheduled. So expect our first installment of the trivia trials coming soon.
I might break kayfabe or the fourth wall right now, but Brent's like super sweaty too.
Oh,
and I'm actually pretty excited for that.
It's
gonna be
awesome.
super fun. It really will be. And as much as crap as we're gonna talk, it's gonna be super fun, and I'm excited for it.
Can I say something really quick? Brent has been posting some really great stuff in the Facebook group recently, right? And he's been doing a lot of polls. And I can only imagine his next poll is going to be, what's the percentage that I'm going to rub Jory with the floor?
What are the odds?
What are the odds? He might be talking a little
odds?
trash via poll in the Facebook group. But I'm not buying it, Jory. I think you're just whole phrasing. I think you're just as strong as of a competitor, and I cannot wait to see you guys displaying that knowledge. And I know that was a great joke. I could see these guys laughing, but Skype does this funny thing where it cancels out their audio when I'm talking. So I'll just throw in the that's not it. That's not the clapping. There it is. You screwed up my own sound bites, Holly. Not very good live, but I'm so excited, guys, for that. That was the outro music. I'm so excited for the trivia trials and what we're doing on Patreon. These guys got a little exclusive look at the new base. Holly filmed a great little Cribs short 2-minute episode, and the house is a lot more empty. And
I mean, yeah.
You'll never see the inside of it right now,
will
guys.
not.
I promise you it's like an episode of Hoarders up in here, but that will be fixed soon. But a lot of cool stuff going on Patreon. Holly and I have an exclusive podcast we're expecting to record here soon. So look out for that. And go on, check out those tiers, like I said. See what's right for you. There's a lot of good stuff in there and a lot of good stuff to come. We're just getting started with Patreon. I feel like we're just getting started with the podcast, but Patreon is just starting. We're getting our feet under us, really ironing out things, and I think these guys are enjoying it. Yeah, Jory.
So if you're on Patreon, you got to see where the magic happens.
Let's go.
You did.
I can't.
I know. There is a slight delay where you can see that I was going for the joke, but then I was just like, on to the bathroom. Like it was just. So yeah, you could see where I almost dropped the old. This is where the magic happens. I'm not very smooth. or, romantically or on camera. So yeah, that was you called it out and you were absolutely right. I was about to make the joke. But hopefully you guys are enjoying that stuff and get in there, and we're gonna iron out some of those details and make sure everyone's participating as much as possible. So expect all sorts of good stuff soon. But anything else, guys?
I think that's it.
That is Casual Counsel number 2, guys. Holly, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. It's a lot better to have someone keeping me in check here with these boys.
This was really fun.
Nettie, you're epic as always. Thanks again for joining us, buddy. Jory, J-Dubs, the man. We're going to have to, that name's going to stick here, all right? So we're going to keep that up there. And guys, keep listening to the podcast. We'll have another episode coming up here soon for you, so I hope you enjoy. And as always, may the Force be with you.